Let's dive right into this explainer and explore exactly how the Portuguese language transformed from a single root into this incredibly vibrant, global mosaic of dialects. I mean, if you've ever listened to Portuguese spoken in Lisbon and then heard it over in Rio de Janeiro or Luanda, you already know the massive linguistic diversity we're talking about here. It is truly a language that has traveled the globe and adapted to literally every single shore it touched.
So, the big question we're unpacking today is this. How did a Romance language originating from the Iberian Peninsula evolve to absorb the rhythms, histories, and cultures of multiple continents? We aren't just talking about a couple of changed vocabulary words here. We're talking about a linguistic tapestry that reflects human history itself.
To guide our global voyage today, we'll quickly follow this itinerary. Roots of the Portuguese language, the elegance of European Portuguese, sounds of Lusophone Africa, Brazil's symphony of accents, and finally, island echoes in the future.
Starting off with Section 1, Roots of the Portuguese language.
You know, the journey of Portuguese actually kicked off way back in the medieval period, emerging from Galician Portuguese. Then, during the Age of Exploration, it left its European home and rapidly spread across the globe. By the modern era, it didn't just impose itself, it mingled. It absorbed countless indigenous tongues and foreign languages to create the incredible variations we hear today.
Moving right along to Section 2, the elegance of European Portuguese.
Even before we cross any oceans, there is remarkable variety just within Portugal's own borders. On one side, you have the Lisbon accent, which is all about sharp clarity and standardization. It's typically what you'll hear in formal broadcasts. But then, travel up north, and you suddenly encounter these unique, deep, guttural sounds and incredibly distinctive intonations. Each accent is a direct reflection of the deep cultural heritage of its specific region.
Next up, Section 3, Sounds of Lusophone Africa.
Drop down into Mozambique, for example, and we find this absolutely fascinating cultural recipe. The Portuguese spoken here mixes perfectly with traces of Swahili and local idioms. It basically acts as a vibrant linguistic bridge, serving as a living testament to how language can celebrate a country's diverse cultural mosaic.
Then, if we head over to Angola, the language turns into this beautiful sonic tapestry. It literally absorbs the deeply melodic rhythms of local indigenous languages, specifically Kimbundu and Umbundu. It's such a cool reflection of the nation's multicultural fabric, showing the resilience of a people who have woven their own unique heritage right into the grammar and vocabulary they use every day.
Now, you might be wondering, how does all this actually play out in everyday life? Well, in the realm of business and trade, standardized Portuguese handles the official documents and government functions. But out on the streets, in daily life, it's the local dialects that build essential rapport and establish interpersonal trust. They reinforce community connection in a way that the standardized language simply cannot do.
Crossing the Atlantic, we hit Section 4, Brazil's Symphony of Accents.
There is an incredible contrast here right off the bat. On one hand, you have the melodious, relaxed, drawn-out beach vibe of Rio de Janeiro's Carioca accent. The words just seem to gently dance. But sitting directly opposite that is the crisp, highly efficient, rapid-fire pacing of São Paulo's Paulistano accent. It's sharp, it's direct, and it perfectly reflects the pragmatic energy of Brazil's massive economic hub.
Travel up the coast to Salvador and you run into the Baiano accent. This one is a total rhythmic homage to Afro-Brazilian heritage. It's so rich and vibrant that everyday conversation basically turns into a lyrical performance. The expressions are deeply infused with the city's rich history, weaving African and indigenous roots into literally every sentence.
But if you head inland to Minas Gerais, the pacing slows way down into the Mineiro accent. It is all about unhurried warmth, gentle intonation, and incredible hospitality. Conversations here flow super smoothly, which really reflects the serene landscapes and the close-knit mining communities of the region.
To round out Brazil, we've got two more massive regional powerhouses. Down in the south, we see strong European settler influences in the Caucha accent of Rio Grande do Sul, bringing this distinct southern charm. Meanwhile, the expansive coastal northeast provides a super colorful fusion of indigenous, African, and European histories in the Nordestino dialect. Honestly, if you ever travel to Brazil, just paying attention to whether you hear Spanish influences or this incredible indigenous fusion will immediately tell you exactly where you are.
And finally, Section 5, Island Echoes and the Future.
Way out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the Azores and Madeira archipelagos developed highly distinct linguistic traits.
Because of their oceanic isolation, combined with being key stops on early seafaring trade routes, these island dialects developed completely unique vocabularies. They absorbed exotic trade infusions while actually retaining archaic forms of Portuguese that survived on the islands long after they vanished from the mainland. It's kind of like a living linguistic time capsule.
Taking the language all the way over to Asia, East Timor gives us a completely unique linguistic recipe. It's a fascinating fusion where Portuguese has blended heavily with local Austronesian languages after centuries of interaction, specifically alongside neighboring Indonesia. It perfectly encapsulates the deeply diverse heritage of the nation.
There's a quote from the source material that I absolutely love, and it serves as a great auditory anchor for everything we've talked about today. Just imagine the stunning symphony you would hear of all these global voices and histories converged right back in a bustling Lisbon cafe. You'd have the musicality of Rio blending with the Swahili-infused rhythms of Mozambique, the rapid-fire efficiency of São Paulo, right alongside the ancient island echoes of the Azores. It really drives home the point that Portuguese isn't just one language, it's a massive shared human experience.
So, that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to ponder. With language preservation efforts currently battling the flattening effects of modern globalization and rapid text shifts, we have to ask, what new melodies will this incredible living language create next? Language is never static, right? It's always breathing and adapting. The future of Portuguese is literally being spoken into existence right now. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I hope you're walking away with a much richer appreciation for just how expansive and fascinating the world of Portuguese truly is.